For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in on your favorite podcast app. Tax time is here, everybody. Is it? I don't pay taxes. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm going to have the government after me already. We're off to a great start, aren't we? But, this is the time of year, right? In April, this is the time of the year where it has people sort of looking about how much you pay in taxes, where are you spending too much just in general, where could you save some money, making cuts to your spending, right? So you have a little bit more to spend on the holidays, Christmas, on gifts, on vacation, whatever. And so more than 10 years ago now, I wrote a book called The Official Guide to Being a Winnipeg Cheapskate. I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And Winnipeg is known as being a very cheap city. And by that, I just mean people look at ways to save money, cut costs and things like that. So when I bought my house, now over 15 years ago, I started to do little things, right? Like when you're under your parents' roof, you don't really pay attention to leaving the lights on or wasting water and doing things like that because you're not paying for it, right? It's not up to you. And so for me, I had every TV channel known to man. I had, cupboards full. I had a fridge full. I was throwing out food constantly just because, there's that novelty of having every TV channel, having a fridge full, having every something from every grocery aisle in the goddamn store. And then you very quickly realize that you don't need all that, right? I have all these movie channels and sports channels, and I don't watch either of those things. So you start to just kind of look at ways to trim. And most people, I think now with inflation, are starting to do that. And so on the show this week, I've got a bunch of segments from that book. Now you have to remember, like I said, this is 10 years ago, so some things aren't necessarily relevant now, but just in ways that you can, use coupons to save money, in how just little changes that you make. Just little things, slight things that can really add up over the course of a year. How getting something used, refurbished is the better name for it now, right? How, you'd scoff at the idea of getting a used phone or a used computer or something, used. But really, at the end of the day, sometimes those are even better than what you would be buying in the store because it can be customized to exactly what you need and therefore be cheaper, right? You're not having to... That was the one thing that I always hated about getting a new computer was because it was going to be souped up for gaming or whatever it was. And I didn't do any of that kind of stuff. I just needed a basic computer. So lots of the tips. Oh, and also pets, by the way. Properly planning for pets. I've got lots of interesting ideas and tips in the book. It's called, again, The Official Guide to Being a Winnipeg Cheapskate, on how to properly plan for pets. So that's something you're going to want to stay around for as well. So not all of them, a lot of the cheapskate tips from my best-selling book are coming up on the Scribble right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secret to losing 3 to 5 pounds a week without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt RX. For the last 2 decades, we've helped countless people lose thousands of pounds. And now, it's your turn. Learn how to lose weight with one simple phone call and no prescription needed. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a risk-free money-back guarantee. So, if you're ready to start losing weight, call right now and get a free month supply with your first order of Body Sculpt RX. Call now. You have nothing to lose but the pounds. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. That's 800-459-6838.
Your salary isn't going up, but the cost of gas and groceries is. What do you do? The kids have to eat and you have to get to work. Aside from starving yourself to ensure you can feed your children, there are things to consider when hitting the supermarket. What I did first when I moved out on my own was load up on groceries and fill the fridge and cupboards. I was an ambitious grocery shopper, only to have much of the food go to waste since I didn't eat it fast enough. Now I make sure I eat everything in the kitchen before shopping for more. It is easy to have a freezer full of food and go shopping for more when you still haven't eaten what you bought weeks ago. Damn those cravings, hey? I make sure there's no food in the freezer when I visit the store. This forces me to eat what I already bought, but also punish me for buying the things I did not want to eat in the first place. And I'm too stubborn to throw out perfectly good food, so I am bound to eat it anyway. With the cupboards bare and the fridge echoing when you open the door, it is the perfect time to stock up. Coupons, coupons, coupons. 50 cents here, buy one get one free there. It adds up over the course of a year. Think about it. If you grocery shop once per week and use 5 coupons and you save $5 every time, that's a savings of $260 over the course of a year. It might not seem like much, but once you get into the habit of saving, you'll be excited about finding the latest deals so you can hang on to your money. Now, when it comes to coupons, it's worth asking if a store will accept a competitor's coupons. Lots of stores match a competitor's price, but what about accepting the competitor's coupons? Ask around and you'd be surprised how many stores will do it. Grocery stores often run the same specials on a rotation. If crackers were on sale last week, chances are if you wait a few more weeks you'll catch another great sale, if not the exact same one. A lot of times we are enticed to buy in multiples. You've seen the signs. 2 for $5. But if you don't need 2, find out if the individual price is still discounted. Oftentimes it is. Most of the time the store is banking on you getting suckered into buying more, but now you know better. Buying items on sale and storing them, freezable items, canned goods, will benefit you in the long run. When cans of soup are on sale, I stock up even though I don't eat soup very often. But when I get sick, I know I will have food to get me through the tough time. Fresh chicken can be expensive, but buying a big box of frozen chicken breasts can be much cheaper. Taking it one step further, if the store sells a bag of frozen chicken breasts, look for a larger box of it. I recently saw a 2-kilogram bag of chicken breasts for $22. Just down the aisle on a bottom shelf was a white box with no flashy label or packaging. It was a 4-kilogram box of the same thing for $26. I got double the amount of chicken for an extra $4. Thankfully, I love chicken, so it's not that I was buying a larger quantity simply because it was cheap. Now watch for markdowns. Just the other day at the store, I noticed big blocks of cheese were marked down. I checked the best before date and it was 2 months away. I asked the cashier why it was marked down and she said it was an overstock shipment and they tossed it in the dairy case to be cleared out. I saved $4 on it because the store had too much. Make it yourself. As I already mentioned, ordering a pizza or even buying a ready-made pizza can set you back a fair bit. Buying your own fresh ingredients can be cheaper. Making a vegetarian pizza and having the leftover veggies used with dip the next day is making the purchase last longer than the one pre-made pizza you bought from the store. How often do you get the craving for a juicy burger or fries from a fast food joint? It happens to me all the time. But getting a big bag of potatoes and making the fries yourself is fun and cheap. Whether you get a fry cutter or slice up the taters by hand, you can have a lot more and pay a lot less. If you boil the oil on the stovetop or have a deep fryer, you can easily replicate the fast food feel by taking a bit of extra time to make it yourself. I also asked around about people's daily habits. That kick of coffee to jumpstart your morning seems to be a common trend. Fortunately, I am not a coffee drinker. I've actually never had a sip of coffee in my life. But that fancy $4 Java in the morning adds up to roughly $1,000 per year with a stop at the store on the way to work in the morning. With most grocery stores selling actual coffee to grind yourself, that can be a cheaper alternative to get your fix. I will admit, however, that I'm addicted to fruit smoothies. Fortunately for me, juice bars are popping up everywhere. I justified spending $5 or $6 a drink on these things, but quickly realized I knew nothing about what they were actually making me. I knew they said the fruits were in it, but rarely did I see them putting anything other than scoops of frozen stuff into the blender. The grocery store's freezer section is a haven of frozen fruits and veggies just waiting to be blended into a homemade creation. I bought a $10 blender that has 2 travel mugs with lids and a 6-pound bag of mixed fruit. For the $12 bag of fruit, I ended up getting nearly 2 weeks of morning smoothies. Like I said before, I'm not much of a cook, and I used to be the type of person who would just buy it already made because it was easier. After getting beyond that reluctance, it actually became fun to create new flavors, and I knew there was no sugar or gross additives in the drink, and it was 100% healthy. There's a growing number of bottled water products on store shelves. There are entire stores that sell water. Here's another admission from me. I was a water snob who insisted on having a water cooler and wouldn't drink tap water. I would have 4 jugs of water delivered at a cost of just over $30. People said I was crazy, but I figured I was better than them since I wasn't drinking that disgusting tap water. When I felt the financial pinch in my pocketbook, my water ordering stopped and the cooler went dry. Adding to my reassurance that tap water is okay was a visit to my parents' house. My mom offered me a bottle of water, not a brand name, just a random no-name product, and it tasted no different than tap water. At the time, I told her to buy a water cooler since it was cheaper and produced less waste by not having to get rid of the little plastic bottles all the time. With a little bit of thought, I realized that it wasn't the water cooler that made the water taste different, it was just the mentality. I also had an idea for those empty water bottles to be reused instead of getting shipped away and recycled. After thoroughly washing them, fill them with water and keep them in the fridge. When you have company over and they ask for a bottle of water, get it for them and twist off the cap while talking at the same time so they don't notice it didn't make that new bottle cap opening sound. In the case of my mom's bottled water, it could very well have been tap water just disguised in a commercial product bottle. Know how much you are buying and prepare accordingly, meaning bring enough shopping bags and also ensuring you have enough space for everything you buy. It's happened before where my small freezer was already full and I showed up with more stuff and had to quickly eat a bunch of things just to make room in the freezer. But if you use the empty kitchen technique where you only shop when you have no groceries, this shouldn't be a problem. Make your list, check it twice, bring a calculator. Smart shopping saves you money.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer. Save the money, save the hassles, and get the better blue pill. Dial 800-578-0179. That's 800-578-0179. 800-578-0179.
When you are living on your own with no roommates, no spouse, no one else supporting the household, it means you take control of the finances and expenses and do what you can to cut costs. It took me a year of living in my house before I figured out tricks and tidbits to leave more money in my bank account. The first instinct when moving into a new place is to load up on furniture and fill every corner of your home. I purposely did not do this, knowing I wasn't sure how my finances would be once I was on my own. Even 4 years after moving into my house, there are still lots of empty areas because I don't need to have a living room and a rec room and a TV in my bedroom. One friend suggested a sitting room in the loft area upstairs near my bedroom. It sounded great at the time, but then I realized I already had a TV in the living room and I sat there anyway. It would have been an unnecessary expense. Living with a minimalist point of view has saved me a lot of money in recent years. I started out buying lots of groceries, even a coffee maker for when company visits, yet I quickly scaled back because it got a little out of hand with my ambitious purchases. I don't drink coffee, I rarely have people over, and the coffee maker has sat in its box since I bought it before moving into my house. Yes, 4 years ago. We hear that devices with a clock, TV, computer, microwave, etc. use more energy when in standby mode and not in actual operation. Taking that to heart, and to the extreme according to some, I unplugged the microwave since I use it maybe one time in a month. My computer is unplugged when I am not at home, and every night when I go to bed. On a weekend, I have nothing plugged in my home office. In the living room, I had 2 floor lamps. Each acts as a decoration because neither is plugged in. That's right, they are fully functional, but don't give light since the cords aren't connected to anything. In the summer, when it stays bright until nearly 10 o'clock in the evening, there's no need to have a lamp on when I go to bed before it even gets dark. In winter, it is dark early, but the brightness from the TV illuminates the room, so it helps with the lighting situation. In the cold winter, people have the heat cranked all day. Whether they are there or not, homeowners keep the place toasty warm for their arrival. Electronic thermostats can be programmed to leave the house cool when you aren't around and crank up the heat moments before you arrive. Rather than having a furnace run all day for the comfort of nobody, you will save money only heating the place when you need it. When I bought my house, I was on a provincial hydro program because of the unpredictable cold prairie winter. I paid the same amount every month, and in the summer it would balance out, so I either had a credit in my account or would have to make a payment to cough up the actual hydro usage. It always ended up being a credit for me. The problem with the averaging program was the first year my monthly amount was based on the previous owner's 12 months. It worked out to be $200 per month that I paid for electricity and heat in my house. I was able to bring that down to $160 the next year by using less every month, which lowered the average monthly consumption. The next year it was down to $135 per month when I discovered the programmable thermostat would only be heating the house between 5 o'clock in the afternoon and 10 o'clock in the evening. Otherwise, I wasn't home or I was sleeping. Most people have a temperature preference when they sleep. Some like it hot, some like it cold. If you like it hot, get a fuzzy velour blanket or two. Also, if you have pets, cuddle up against them. A natural fur coat is something to appreciate on a cold winter night. Another cheap alternative to staying warm is to get a hot water bottle. If you are quick to fall asleep like I am, place the bottle on your chest or feet and the water will stay warm until you doze off. Factoring in what it costs to fill a hot water bottle compared to running a furnace all night, you'll quickly see the savings if you adjust your heat source. Saving water was a tough one for me. I love my baths. I can spend hours in the bathtub, refilling it every 20 minutes to have it as hot as possible. I offset that water usage by rarely washing dishes. If it's just me in the house, how much water is it to wash one plate and one set of cutlery, or filling the sink once and going through all the plates in the cupboard before giving them all a good wash? My house doesn't have a low flush toilet. It's still an old clunker that is designed to, figuratively, flush your money down the drain, but rather than having a full toilet tank, I have containers filled with sand taking up space in the back. This prevents the entire tank from filling up with water on a flush and greatly cuts down on the water usage. A gallon here and a gallon there will make a big difference on your next water bill.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt, your shoulder hurts, and your back. Oh my God, your back. They're constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore, am I right? Well, here is something you haven't tried. Pain Absolve. Pain Absolve is not available in any drugstore. The only way to get it is by calling today. We're so confident that it will work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase, no prescription needed, and best of all, each purchase comes with a money-back guarantee. Call now to find out how you can get Pain Absolve and get rid of your pain. Call 800-319-0582. That's 800-319-0582. 800-319-0582. Call today, 800-319-0582.
Wanting a new computer is one thing. Needing a computer is something else. Like most people, I want the latest, the fastest, the coolest, the amazingest. You get the picture. But I dread making the switch because it means starting all over with the settings and setup that has taken years of OCD-ish tendencies to get just right. The mere thought of the word refurbished makes people shut down immediately. People associate refurbished electronics with being used, old, gross. That isn't always the case. There are plenty of discount computer resellers that fix up old computers and modernize them to be very much comparable to what you'd get in a big box store. Finding somebody who works closely with customers and provides personal and customized service can also be a ticket to scoring big with a new computer. Think about it. A person who takes in old computers and fixes them up has lots of extra parts kicking around that can be installed to tailor a new machine just for you. Don't plan on gaming or surfing? Why pay for a top-of-the-line model that showcases those features? Whether you go to a store or find someone who pieces together computers, there is a simple question to ask yourself. What am I going to do with the computer? Give the tech your list of needs and you can get a custom machine built just for you. Don't get an out-of-the-box computer that will have you clueless about half its features. Of course, it sounds great in the store when they can ramble on about the gigas of this and megas of that, but ask what that means for you. Chances are the small business owner isn't going to screw you over because he or she needs your repeat business and your referrals. There's a better chance that they will take care of you than a store where you're just one of hundreds going through every day. Pick and choose your features to get a customized machine, and it could be much cheaper and a better experience in the long run. As always, do your shopping homework.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
As much as I love my dog, he costs me a fortune. I always say there's no cost too high that would make me consider not taking care of him anymore. While I expected it to be a commitment, like owning a car and maintaining it, I realized a dog needs its own bank account for those unexpected costs. After all, it is a member of the family. People go to pet stores, see puppies for ridiculously expensive prices, and say, I would never pay that for a dog, but people do. Taking care of it sometimes comes with the same line, I would never pay that. But as any animal lover will tell you, the hundreds of dollars of vet bills for the unexpected illnesses or checkups can be overwhelming. Sometimes just making an appointment at the vet can cost upwards of $40. Once you are there, there's the tests, exams, and medication that often follow. It is not uncommon to walk out of a vet's office with $200 spent. That's it, no more getting sick, you probably mentioned to the pooch on the way out. There are lots of people who opt to get pet insurance, but sometimes those costs don't warrant the monthly charges you incur. Last year, I created a bank account that would be solely used for the dog. I don't put too much money into it. I have a regular monthly $20 deposit that automatically transfers to the account. You could even set up one for $5 per week. Depending on your bank and bank accounts, there might not be a charge or fee for transferring from one account to another, so it's a money move you won't even notice. When it comes closer to heartworm or annual shots time, I kick it up to $30 for a few months leading up to the appointments, so I'm not left strapped for money in the dog's savings account. And you might not be rich, but think about how impressive it is to say your dog has its own bank account. Vet bills aside, there's the cost of food and toys for your pets. The belief is that expensive food is better. The bigger the brand name, the better the quality. But if you look at the nutritional information, or even just talk to the veterinarian, you'll find that a supermarket's brand might be the same and significantly cheaper. When my dog was a puppy, I was overfeeding him because he always seemed hungry and wolfed down his food very quickly. I was going through a lot of dog food. Despite going for walks every day, the vet said the dog needed to lose weight. The doctor gave me a plastic measuring cup that indicated how much a growing dog needs and how much an adult dog needs. Let me tell you, the dog's giant bags of food last much longer now. As cute as dog costumes and clothes are, they really can be an unnecessary expense. It's true that a pet's feet can freeze on cold pavement in winter, but look around the house at items you already have as an alternative. If you're going to buy dog booties, just use a couple old pairs of socks instead. Here's a better and safer idea. Run around your home and get exercise. If you don't want to be in the cold, and your pet doesn't want to be in the cold, eliminate the walk altogether. Or go for a short walk outside and come in and pick up the activity where it's warm. All these expensive treats at the store sound so appetizing for the dog, not me. When you look at the cost of what you're getting, it makes you wonder if the price is worth it. My dog practically swallows a treat since he eats it so fast. Sure, he gets excited and sits nicely when the treat cupboard opens, but there are cheaper alternatives you can give your dog. There's a debate about whether or not to give dogs scraps of food or leftovers from your meal. As long as it's not unhealthy foods for your dog, I don't see a problem. The trick is to not give them the food right off the counter or right off your plate. Telling the dog no when he is staring you down and licking his lips while you eat makes him go away and is then rewarded with the food after. Giving him the food as his saliva is dripping on my foot while he watches me eat isn't teaching him that begging is bad. I was one of those dog owners that gave treats for everything. Any sort of trick earned my dog a treat. Now the dog only gets a treat after he has breakfast and dinner and when I leave the house. To make my escape, I ask him to find his special toy that gets treats loaded into it, and it takes him a long time to get them out. He works his brain to figure out how to get to the yummy snack while I can sneak out without him knowing. Actually, he probably wants me to leave more often so he gets more treats, but at least by the time he has spent 20 minutes working with his toy to get the reward, he will be tired out and I will be long gone. Giving praise, playtime, and attention seems to be more rewarding for my dog. Sure, he loves food treats, but he enjoys quality bonding time just as much, or at least I like to think he does. If you think about how many treats you get in a package and the amount of packages you buy in a year, you can really scale back the purchases and save lots of money. As for toys, those little plastic squeakers can cost a lot. There should be a strategy to toy purchases. First, if you hate the squeaking sound, don't buy toys that make that noise. That's a given. But if a noisy toy doesn't bother you, make your own. Take an empty drink bottle or container and bat it around the floor. Remove the plastic or paper labels so they aren't eaten and give it a few throws. Make sure you discard the toy if it gets punctured and the animal starts eating it, though. When you walk down an aisle at a pet store, it's interesting to see how many of the toys are actually regular items, rope, ball, etc., but adding a pattern or design makes them a lot more expensive. I think you can imagine what my tip is for this one. Get a regular tennis ball. Use a stick from the backyard. My dog is happy playing with anything as long as he's getting my attention. When I first got my dog, I got all the fun-filled toys and paid a fortune because, I guess I wanted to buy his love. But after a while, he quickly grew to appreciate anything I gave him because it was coming from me. The stores sell a doggy stuffed animal for $15, but a dollar store sells the same thing for $1. Provided the dog isn't ripping it to shreds, a stuffed doll shouldn't be a major investment. My dog brings his puppy toy to bed and falls asleep with it in his mouth. When it gets gobbed up and needs to be thrown out, I go to the closet and bring out a replacement $1 toy and he is just fine with it. I also wait until after a holiday and scoop up some plush animals for half price. After Valentine's Day and all those big bears holding giant hearts are waiting for a home, I snag them and I'm a hero when I come home because the dog has a new friend. Once he settles down, he is fast asleep holding his new his new cheap pal. I made the mistake of buying a plush pet bed for $40, and after leaving him alone with it, I came back into the room and saw the dog had ripped it apart in less than an hour. What does he have now? One of my old pillows on the floor, and he takes care of it like it's his own bed. I like to think he uses it because it has my scent, so he knows that it's me. Whatever makes me feel better, right? It is just like when I moved into my house. I went all out on spending, but after a while you figure things out and learn about how to cut corners without sacrifices. Like owning a car or being a homeowner, there are lots of costs that arise with being a parent to a pet. Plan ahead just like you would for having kids.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on this Scribble. I said at the top of the show, the disclaimer that these are a bit dated, these segments, and during this show we looked it up and the segments were recorded October 8th, 2013. So yes, 10 years ago. I mean, the book was put out a long time ago, but what's crazy though is with this whole inflation thing, the book has a relevance again. It's got, not irrelevant, it's got a relevance. It's got relevance again, because obviously with the cost of everything going up, people have reassessed how they spend and where they spend. And the same thing with grocery shopping. There's the big debate about the price of eggs and all this other stuff that's happening. And when I go into the big box store, the big Walmart's, the big superstores, I know that they make billions in dollars of profits, and I know that the executives are paid millions and have bonuses that total, my house 17 times over. The cost of my house, they get $1 million bonuses. And so, when I see the prices, that just kind of makes me think, well, you know what, I'm not going to pay full price, and that's now us as customers essentially punishing them. We're not going to pay the overpriced chicken or whatever it might be, whatever the product is. And now you're going to have to end up reducing the price, and you're going to take the hit on it because we're taking a stand and we're just not going to pay it anymore. And so I love that. I mean, again, I'm a cheapskate at heart anyway, so I love seeing a discount sticker. But there's a bit of sweetness to it now, where you can go to the meat section and say, good, fuck you for overpricing the chicken like this. Now, there's that debate about if the stores are really feeling the pinch. But again, then don't give $1 million bonuses to executives. Pass that on to customers. Pay it forward to your customers who have kept you in business all this time. My name is Jeremy Bradley. Again, the book, The Official Guide to Being a Winnipeg Cheapskate. You can get it on Amazon or any other digital bookseller. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some